What if you could win pretty much any argument, not by being louder or smarter, but by understanding one simple secret about fishing? Today, we're going to dive into a legendary principle from Dale Carnegie that does just that. So, Carnegie kicks things off with this great little story. He's talking about how much he loves strawberries and cream. But he realized a long time ago that when he goes fishing, for some strange reason, fish just aren't interested in his favorite dessert.
And that's it, right there. This whole analogy about strawberries and worms, it's the key. It perfectly captures one of the most basic truths about how to persuade and influence other people.
I mean, it seems so obvious when you put it that way, right? When you're out on the water, you don't think about what you feel like eating. You think about what the fish wants to eat. You put a worm on the hook. Why? Because that's what the fish is looking for. And this is exactly where we get it so wrong in our day-to-day lives. So often, we try to persuade people by talking about what we want. We're baiting the hook with strawberries and cream. But Carnegie's point is simple. The only way to get someone on your side is to talk about what they want and then show them how to get it. That's how you move from a dead-end argument to an actual agreement. So this powerful idea, baiting the hook to suit the fish, this is really the foundation of what Carnegie calls Principle 8. So let's break down what that rule actually is. And there it is. Try honestly to see things from their point of view. Now, that sounds super simple, doesn't it? But it's incredibly hard to do in the moment. Our natural instinct, especially when we're in a disagreement, is to just double down on why we're right. Carnegie says you have to fight that urge. You have to make a real, genuine effort to see the world through their eyes for a minute. Okay, so that's the rule. It makes sense. But what does it look like in the real world when things get messy? Let's jump to the application and see how this principle was used to solve what felt like a totally impossible problem. All right, so here's the setup. You've got a car service company that's hit a wall. 6 different customers are all absolutely refusing to pay their bills. They're not fighting the whole bill, mind you, just a few charges here and there that they think are bogus. So the company's first move was, what most of us would do. It was logical. They had the paperwork, they had the signed orders, they knew the bills were correct, so they just told the customers that. You're wrong, we're right. And guess what happened? The customers just dug their heels in even more. The arguments got louder. Because just telling someone they're wrong is maybe the worst way to persuade them of anything.
Realizing that this was a complete dead end, one of the company's managers decided to try something totally different. He decided to stop arguing and actually apply Principle 8. His new game plan was a complete 180. He didn't go to these customers' houses to demand money. He went to understand the problem. He made it a point to say nothing until they had told their entire side of the story. He treated them like the expert. I mean, who knows their car better than they do? He just listened with real sympathy. And only after all that, after they felt totally heard, did he appeal to their sense of fairness. And this was the masterstroke. Instead of telling the customer what they owed, he handed them the bill and basically said, "You be the judge. I trust you to be fair. Adjust this however you see fit." He put them completely in charge. He gave them all the power. And the result? It was almost like magic. As soon as the customers felt like they were being understood and respected, all that anger just melted away. They wanted to be fair. One guy who had been absolutely furious ended up paying the entire bill, no questions asked. In fact, 5 of the 6 customers paid their bills in full. The whole conflict was solved not by proving who was right, but by understanding why someone felt they'd been wronged. So look, the big takeaway here is that this isn't just some clever story from an old book. This principle is a practical tool. It's something you can use in your own life, starting with the very next time you disagree with someone. So I'm going to leave you with this challenge. The next time you find yourself in a debate or an argument, just pause. Stop thinking about your comeback. Instead, try to understand where the other person is coming from so deeply, so honestly that you could argue their side of the case for them, maybe even better than they can. Because if you can do that, you're not just winning an argument anymore. You're winning a person over to your way of thinking.